Hello everyone, this is Verity, and here is my John Bowlby presentation. In this presentation, we'll have a look at how John Bowlby's formative years influenced his interest in early separations and their impact on emotional bonds, how he challenged traditional Freudian ideas by emphasizing observable interactions, and ultimately how he has influenced psychodynamic and art therapy. John Bowlby was born in 1907 into a British upper-class family. But despite this privileged background, his early years were quite challenging. He was mostly raised by nannies because his father, who was a busy surgeon, was often absent. And his mother maintained a distant relationship, believing that too much parental affection might spoil a child. Adding to these early experiences, at the age of 8, he was sent to a boarding school, a setting he found profoundly distressing. His formative experiences undoubtedly laid the groundwork for his lifelong fascination about how early separations and emotional bonds shape our development. Bowlby began his academic journey at Cambridge, where he started medical studies. His experience at a progressive school for boys facing behavioral and emotional challenges sparked his lifelong interest in the dynamics of parent-child relationships. He trained in psychoanalysis under Joan Riviere at the British Psychoanalytic Institute and later became a member of the British Psychoanalytic Society, strengthening his knowledge of Freudian ideas. He completed a fellowship in child psychiatry and worked at the London Child Guidance Clinic. That's where he saw how separation and deprivation affected children, an observation that later shaped his theories. During World War II, his clinical and research work expanded further. He published a study on juvenile thieves, which linked maternal deprivation with later behavioral issues. His experience with the Officers Selection Board during the war also provided him with valuable research method expertise that would underpin his future work. Together, these early experiences laid the foundation for Bowlby's shift towards an empirical focus. Initially, Bowlby was influenced by traditional Freudian psychoanalysis and figures like Melanie Klein and Joan Riviere, who emphasized internal drives and unconscious fantasy. However, his clinical work at the London Child Guidance Clinic showed that real-life events like separation and inconsistent caregiving had a much stronger impact on children's emotional outcome than what classic Freudian theory could explain. He became increasingly frustrated by these limitations and shifted his focus to empirical research. He drew on insights from ethology and developmental psychology. Notably, Konrad Lorenz's work on imprinting played a major role. Lorenz demonstrated that early attachment behaviors are innate and crucial for survival, which helped Bowlby see attachment as an adaptive system rather than merely a result of internal mental conflict. This change from focusing on abstract internal conflict to studying observable relationship dynamics set the foundation for attachment theory. In this phase of his work, Bowlby started to really hone in on what he observed in real-life caregiving environments. His landmark report, Maternal Care and Mental Health, from 1951, was a turning point. It explored how the presence or absence of maternal care directly influenced a child's development. Building on these findings, he introduced the concept of a secure base, which is now recognized as essential for healthy emotional regulation. This set the stage for his later, more detailed formulation of attachment theory. So, Bowlby's attachment theory explains the importance of emotional bonds between infants and their primary caregivers, emphasizing that these relationships are fundamental in shaping a child's emotional and social development. These early bonds influence a child's ability to form secure relationships later in life. Bowlby believed that attachment behaviors, such as seeking proximity to a caregiver and displaying distress upon separation, that they are biologically programmed in order to ensure survival. He proposed that these experiences shape an internal working model, a mental representation of self, others, and relationships. A secure attachment led to positive internal working models, fostering trust and emotional security, while inconsistent or neglectful caregiving can result in insecure internal working models, leading to difficulties with relationships and emotional regulation later in life. He emphasized the need for a warm, intimate, and consistent caregiving relationship, warning that parental deprivation could lead to emotional difficulties. Disruption in this bond, especially prolonged separation, could negatively shape a child's internal working model, reinforcing patterns of insecurity and relationship struggles. This work laid the foundation for understanding how early attachment experience influence lifelong emotional well-being. Now, building on Bowlby's work, Mary Ainsworth's research introduced attachment styles, where she identified 3 primary attachment styles through her strange situation experiment. Secure attachment, infants that trust their caregiver's availability and respond to positive comfort. Insecure avoidant attachment. These are infants who downplay distress and avoid seeking comfort from their caregivers. Insecure ambivalent resistant attachment. Infants who show excessive distress and difficulty being comforted. A 4th attachment style, disorganized attachment, was later identified by Main and Solomon. And this type of attachment is often linked to trauma or inconsistent caregiving, leading to unpredictable behaviors. Attachment patterns tend to persist and influence romantic relationships, parenting styles, and emotional resistance. Secure attachment is linked to healthy relationships and emotional regulation, while insecure attachment can contribute to difficulties with trust and coping mechanisms later in life. Attachment styles were Mary Ainsworth's contribution based on her strange situation experiment in the late 1960s. So while Bowlby developed attachment theory, it was Ainsworth who provided the first real empirical evidence to classify how attachment differs between children. Bowlby's work faced strong opposition from the psychoanalytic establishment. Melanie Klein and Anna Freud criticized Bowlby, arguing that he underestimated unconscious drives and focused too much on real-life experiences over internal conflict. Klein's school emphasized that children's emotions are shaped by unconscious fantasy, whereas Bowlby believed that the caregiver interactions were more influential. His rejection of Freudian drive theory and focus on empirical and research clashed with traditional psychoanalysis, leading to hostility from the British Psychoanalytic Society that he belonged to. Though initially his ideas were dismissed, later his theories reshaped our understanding of emotional development. Bowlby's attachment theory has reshaped modern psychoanalysis, emphasizing early relationships as central to mental health. His work has influenced clinical techniques and parent-child interventions, shaping therapeutic approaches across various disciplines. Today, psychoanalysis integrates his focus on emotional security and early attachment as key to treating trauma and relationship dysfunction. With application of this theory to art therapy, we can see how therapists provide a secure base, helping clients explore and reshape ingrained patterns. How therapeutic alliance in art therapy can foster secure attachment by supporting trust and emotional regulation. Through creative expression, clients can process attachment-related conflict, develop healthier relationships, and strengthen their sense of self. Ultimately, attachment-based art therapy nurtures emotional growth and healing, promoting security and well-being. Thank you, everyone. Here are my references.